He said he had a job for me. Said the job was paying $52,000 for 5 days. Up front, you get the entire payment. Right?
That's a good deal.
Yeah, okay.
Also, why the would they pay you up front?
Listen to this. I meet up with the guy. He shows me a ID from the Pentagon.
Oh.
He tells me that he does not trust certain people that he works with, and that he needs me to keep him safe until he can testify in front of Congress.
Oh, that's smart.
You know who Luis Elizondo is?
No.
Oh.
Who's that?
Luis Elizondo is a former CIA operative who just testified. Him and his co-workers are testifying in front of Congress about the same shit I'm just telling you about.
Y'all, I don't even know where to begin with this episode. Okay, this is something you have not seen, I promise. An interview with a bodyguard, okay, celebrity bodyguard, who knows about Luis Elizondo, his book, but also was approached to protect a whistleblower before he testified before Congress. And he's saying this was 2012, y'all, right? And there is so much more in this clip I'm going to show you that I broke down into 3 different parts, all right? So, but first, before we jump into these clips, who is this guy, right? What is he talking about, right? So his name is the Big Homie CC. And he's been protecting celebrities for a long time, right? Here's a picture of him with Floyd Mayweather, right? And he's got a show coming out soon. It's called You Can't Make This Shit Up. And here's kind of a short little preview, give you more of an idea of who this guy is.
Now, working as a private bodyguard, I ended up in a lot of parties. You know, Hollywood ain't what you think it is. Terry Crews, for example, P. Diddy, Orlando Brown, the dude Busta Rhymes, the Kardashians. I seen the guy Dwight Howard in a pink dress. We didn't know he had enough money to put a $50,000 bounty on me, though. He gets hit in the neck. I seen the blood shoot out and hit the ceiling. I see like a lot of people. That's a kid. These are the people that are being trafficked. To me, that's disrespectful. You coming to get me, and you don't got one up top? Let's play ball. I can't make this shit up.
Now, if I'm being honest, I didn't really, come up with this idea for this video. A user commented below in a video that I recently made and put this, right? And I went and checked it out, and I was like, wow, this is real, right? And there's some crazy things talked about in here. So as we dive further in this episode, we'll break it down. But first, let's just go ahead and get to the first clip here. All right. So enjoy this first clip with, again, the Big Homie CC on the No Jumper podcast talking about, I don't know, to be honest. Here we go.
I'm going to say something right now. I only said this on the show that's coming out. I can't make this shit up.
Uh-huh.
One day, I get an email. I had a Proton Mail account. Are you familiar with Proton Mail?
Oh, that's like an anonymous one for like drug dealers and shit, right?
Okay, so it's an encrypted email.
Okay, yeah. I got a little too specific. But I've heard of it over the years, yeah.
Okay. I get an email from a guy. This is 2012. He wanted to meet me at a place called Lux Bar. He said he had a job for me. Said the job was paying $52,000 for 5 days. Up front, you get the entire payment. Right?
That's a good deal.
Yeah, okay.
Also, why the would they pay you up front?
Listen to this. I meet up with the guy. He shows me a ID from the Pentagon.
Oh.
He tells me that he does not trust certain people that he works with, and that he needs me to keep him safe until he can testify in front of Congress.
Oh, wow.
Right? So then he says, Keith, I want you to look at this. Red flag off top, because how do you know my name? I never told you my name. Okay. he could have heard from somebody else, et cetera, et cetera. He shows me some pictures. He say, what does this look like to you? I'm like, man, it looks like a desert of some sort. You know, I see like some trucks. You feel me? He says, okay, so this is like a truck to you? Or some type of plow truck, something like that? He says, well, according to these measurements, this truck is 2 miles long. So I'm like, what? Okay. He asked me some more questions, showed me some more stuff. Another one was like looked like a protractor or something.
A 2 mile long truck?
That's what he said. And
Very confusing.
all right. So I say, okay, so what am I looking at? He says, these pictures are on the surface of the moon. He said, my job is to scrub these pictures to make them available to get released to the public. So I'm like, okay.
What? I am so confused by this, y'all. I don't know if you are as well. But first, a 2 mile long truck. What kind of road does that go on? What are the turns like? You know what I mean? Imagine you get up to one of those signs that's like the squiggly line, and you're just like, guys, not gonna make it. I don't even know where to begin, right? This guy being approached like this, right, to protect a whistleblower, to come out, right? He's supposed to scrub these pictures of the moon's surface to release to the public, showing what, right? What is this protractor thing that he's talking about? This is so fascinating. And let's be real, guys like this, like they're just like repeating. You know what I mean? I don't think there's any embellishment or any sort of, right, exaggeration here, right? I do think that he maybe is a little confused on some of the details, as you'll see in the next clip. But it's interesting, right? Like, what is going on? What you know what I mean? Who is it? Who is he talking about, right? Because pay attention to this next clip. I don't know if he's actually talking about Luis Elizondo. I think he's talking about somebody else. And I'd be curious, who do you think it is in the comments, right? Worked in the government. 2012. $52,000 for 5 days. And what was going to happen in those 5 days? Like, what was he going to do on day 6? Was this testimony to Congress, did it happen? Was it behind closed doors? Right? And what, I don't know. Right? What it had to have occurred, something had to have occurred during those 5 days. Otherwise, why are you paying for security for those 5 days specifically and only those 5 days? And who's footing the bill? I hope those aren't tax dollars. Right? And as you'll find out, he doesn't take the job. So who took the job? I don't know, y'all. This is so confusing, right? So I'm confused, right? So let's jump into this next clip and see if we can get a little more clarification or more questions.
Then he asked me to sign an NDA. He pull out a little folder, unfold the paper, and say, he want me to sign an NDA. I'm like, oh, okay. I always try to avoid that because to me, it's like you're agreeing to something, right? Then the guy goes on to explain to me about some race of people who live at the bottom of the ocean. They have facilities there, and when I refused this job,
Sounds like a Little Mermaid, but
until you hear these parts,
okay.
I refused the gig. He tells me someone's occupying our moon. I'm scheduled to testify as a whistleblower in front of Congress about this. Can you keep me safe until then? I had to turn the job down because as soon as I go outside, my car ransacked. My car, for about 3 weeks, my car get towed. I go to pick it up, they give it to me for free. then a lot of strange things was happening. You see what I'm saying? And, this guy testified in front of Congress.
And is he still alive?
Yep.
Sounds like if they were willing to do all that to you, that they would be willing to kill him too. Or something to him.
Yeah, so he has something called like a dead man script. So like if he was to die unexpectedly, some type of information would get released. So apparently that's what kept him alive throughout that process.
Oh, that's smart.
You know who Luis Elizondo is?
No.
Oh.
Who's that?
Luis Elizondo is a former CIA operative who just testified. Him and his co-workers are testifying in front of Congress about the same shit I'm just telling you about.
Really?
Are you aware that they're banning abortions because global birth rates are down to historical numbers?
So it didn't get any less weird. And the only reason it's weird is because I just don't know what to make of it, right? Like, it's just some random podcast and this random guy talking about it. And I don't mean random in a negative way, just, not in the circle of things I look into, right? But, there's something to be said with that, right? What are some of the tangential people who have been contracted or asked to participate who are just, right, normal citizens, bodyguards, things like that, security? That's interesting, right? Because I would like to know who took this job, right? If anybody. And how many more times have they done things like this, right? And again, who's footing the bill for this? But look, he also talked about an NDA, right? Signing an NDA, and he didn't want to do that, and he didn't want to take the job, and his car got ransacked. He towed his car. He went. They gave it to him for free, right? It's very strange. And he also talks about this guy having what he called a dead man script, but what he means is a dead man switch, right? That if anything happened to him, all the information he has gets sent out, right, to the public. It becomes public. So, God, who is this guy he's talking about? I am so curious. But he does bring up Luis Elizondo, and why bring that up, right? He also talked about aliens under the ocean, right, that this guy told him. Apparently, this guy was just revealing all kinds of classified information to this security guy. Right? Or maybe not classified. I don't know. But it seemed like he was just like revealing everything he was going to testify about and or other things. Right? Which is interesting. It's just interesting what this guy told him. Right? And this guy's been repeating this, let's be real, at all kinds of parties and late night shindigs. Who knows how much the information has changed from when he first heard it. But, my guess is not by much. And to be honest, I think he's sort of underplaying the importance of this, to be honest with you. But look, he also says that the guy did testify to Congress, but behind closed doors, it must have been. Big homie CC, if you're watching this, man, checked out some of your music. I love it, first of all. Love what you've done. If you want to come on the show, would love to talk to you more about this, right? Because he says that he tells this story in his new show coming out, right? He said he hadn't told it anywhere else but this new show. But, I mean, let's be really, he just meant publicly, but he has definitely told this at parties. And look, I cut it off there when he starts talking about abortion, because basically they just go into talking about like China and global population and all these different things, right? Get a little sidetracked, but maybe not. Maybe it's all part of it, right? Because listen to what he says here at the end.
But so all this stuff is shit that you've learned through your years in the game.
Yeah, bro, you'll be working with Army Rangers. Keith, you're a good man. I'm gonna tell you some shit. Listen to me closely. You need to do this. You need to prepare for this shit right now.
Damn.
Keeps me up at night, man.
Really? That's another reason you want to get out of it?
Right. And to spread my true message, which is like, look, we need to prepare for certain impending events. That book Imminent that came out, Luis Elizondo, you need to check that out, Adam.
Okay, I will. A couple more questions. Who is the fakest celebrity that you've actually been around over the years?
Damn.
Okay, so I think he's maybe a little confused because Luis Elizondo has not testified to Congress, at least as far as we know, right? Not publicly, right, in a hearing. Now, maybe he's getting that confused, right, or whatever. But remember, Luis Elizondo has come out with the his book release and talked about he will testify, right? So I don't think he has yet, and I don't think he's talking about Luis Elizondo, and he is a little confused about what Luis Elizondo has done, but you know, all these guys have testified. I mean, he's clearly talking about the hearing from last year, but still, this is fascinating, right? What information did we learn from this, right? We learned that this celebrity bodyguard was approached in 2012 and offered little north of $50,000 to protect this Pentagon employee who was going to be a whistleblower, right? Protect him for 5 days so he could testify, right, about these pictures of the moon and other things, right? Who is this guy? And again, he drops Luis Elizondo's name in the book and everything. Does he connecting it? Is it Luis Elizondo? I don't know, but I'm fascinated and I would love to find out. So look, I hope y'all enjoyed today's video, and shout out to the user who pointed this out, because I don't know if I would have found it before, to be honest with you. So let's dig in, y'all. See what we can find out. All right, vetters, we'll see you on tomorrow's video. Remember, every day's a gift, y'all. Peace!
I live inside my own world of make-believe. Kids screaming in the cradles, profanities. I see the world through ice covered in ink and bleach. Cross out the ones who heard my cries and watched me weep.